Thank you for joining us as we continue our journey through Holy Week. My name is John Stahlberger. I'm one of the pastors here at West Valley Christian Church. And today we're looking at Holy Monday. And we're going to be looking at the story found in Matthew chapter 21 of Jesus cleansing the temple. And so if you have your Bible, it's Matthew 21. We're going to look at starting at verse 12. Jesus entered the temple courts and drove out all who were buying and selling there. He overturned the tables of the money changers and the benches of those selling doves. It is written, he said to them, "My house will be called a house of prayer, but you are making it a den of robbers." The blind and the lame came to him at the temple, and he healed them. But when the chief priests and the teachers of the law saw the wonderful things he did, and the children shouting in the temple courts, "Hosanna to the Son of David," they were indignant. "Do you hear what these children are saying?" they asked him. "Yes," replied Jesus. "Have you never read, from the lips of children and infants, you, Lord, have called forth your praise?" And so Jesus goes into the temple and he's horrified by what he sees, because as he goes in there, he is seeing these people that have turned the temple into like a for-profit sale. And so he's disturbed by the misuse of the temple. He's disturbed by the fact that they've turned the temple into something like a swap meet. What I really want us to focus on is what it says in verse 14 and 15. It says, "The blind and the lame came to him at the temple, and he healed them." And then it tells us about the chief priests and the leaders being appalled by that. And so, this week, Jesus is laser focused on what he has going on. Like he knows what's happening this week, but I don't think anybody else has any idea what's going on this week. And so I imagine him just being so focused on what he is doing, on where he is going, on who he is interacting with. He's laser focused. And so every step that he took, he was doing something meaningful. And so he walks into the temple and he sees this scene that disturbs him, and he decides to step up and to do something about it. And that's important. But the verse that I read there about the blind and the lame coming to him and him healing them, that's what I really want us to notice about. Because even in the most challenging week of his life, Jesus sees the needs of others and he does something about them. Like the chief priests and the leaders, they're bothered by Jesus' behavior, but that isn't a surprise. As a matter of fact, in the margin of my Bible, this is the Bible I use to do my devotions in every day, I wrote down in the margin here, it says, "The down and out have always been Jesus' crowd." Because that's what I notice about this passage. Even in this week, where he is going to the cross, he still sees the needs of others and is willing to do something about it. And again, the down and out have always been Jesus' crowd. The beaten, the broken, the outcast, they've all found hope and a place with Jesus. The marginalized and the forgotten, they found someone in Jesus. And so as we think about this passage and we think about this story for this week, I want you to think about this. Maybe you sometimes feel like an outcast. Maybe you feel like you've been forgotten. And what I want you to know is this: Jesus knows you and he sees you. Like even in the midst of a trying week, Jesus saw those people. And so even no matter what you're going through right now, and you think, "Oh, God doesn't have time for me, he doesn't notice me," I want you to know that God sees you and he cares and he wants to come alongside you today. For those of you that can't understand what we've been talking about, what I just mentioned with that, I don't want you to feel guilty because you're not facing those challenges. That's not the way you feel. But what I do want to encourage you to do is to take your eyes off of yourself and to spend some time, not just this week, but every week, thinking and looking at people the way Jesus did. That even in the most trying week of his life, even in the times where he's so focused on his mission and his plan, he still saw those that were down and those that were hurting. Imitate Jesus' compassion as we remember his sacrifice this week. That sentence again from that verse: "The blind and the lame came to him at the temple, and he healed them." God bless. Have a great day.